Welcome to the next episode of the Infinite Quality Podcast. This is episode 4. I am the Sunny Machine, and today I am joined by the best Jared,
Hello.
Wuta,
That's me. Hello.
and Feckless Man.
Hello, everyone.
Nice. Today's going to be an interesting episode because we're talking about something that's maybe a little bit, I don't know if I want to call it controversial, but it is the lurk for lurk thing. Just saying those words kind of bothers me. All
Lurk
right.
for lurk. Follow for follow.
Follow for follow, lurk for lurk. Do you guys? Let's just talk about this from being a streamer. Like you're live, someone comes in your chat. I'm interested, Wuta. I want to hear because I think this happens to you. Do people come in and ask you for follows? Follow for follow?
They used to. I haven't gotten it. I actually haven't had it in a while. But it used to happen to me a lot where people would come in and they'd say, "Hey, man, I dropped you a follow." You know, I'd say, "Okay," and then they'd say, "Follow for follow." I would just always say the same exact thing, which for me is always no. But a lot of people don't say no. But no, it does happen a lot nowadays. Not so much. Like I said, I haven't had one happen in quite a while actually. But
That's
I've
good.
always said no to it. I've never practiced that because it never made sense to me.
Okay.
But I tried real hard to always say, lay it out to them in a simple way. Like, hey man, I've never done follow for follow. I'll never do follow for follow. I'll follow your channel if I like your channel. That's what I say. Say, you know, I'll go check out your channel, and if I like you, I'll follow you. But I'm not gonna follow you just because you followed me. That
Right.
seems silly.
Right. Yeah. There's this thing going on right now. If anybody's not familiar, which most of you should be, if you're listening, people are doing basically a trade system where they're trying to grow their channel through asking people to lurk. A lurker is somebody who's like hangs out in your stream without saying anything, without really chatting, not really an active person, more of just I'm here, I'm counting in the viewership maybe. And so people are trying to trade that. And I've gone into some of those lurk for lurk channels. There's networks and stuff going on Twitch. And
There's teams based around it.
yeah, and from what I've seen, like I'll give you an example of what happened directly to me. So I went into a channel that was hosting a bunch of people. It was just a bunch of little preview images of streams, and people had a chance of getting their stream like hosted on this channel or whatever. And so you have to join the network and you have to accumulate points and all of this stuff. And so I went into someone's stream that was promoting their stream, and I clicked on one of the users in the chat basically to see what kind of person is using this network. And it was somebody playing Fortnite. This is before Apex came out, so Fortnite was basically number one. He had like, I don't know, six viewers, 6 to 8 viewers. And while I was there, a small streamer networking host came in and hosted him and bumped him up to about 40 viewers. But still, in Fortnite, that's like you're still buried.
Oh yeah, 40
Nobody's
viewers
finding
on
you.
Fortnite. Yep.
So,
You're still on page 9.
but then, yeah, so I hung out for a little bit longer when I noticed after about 10 minutes, the host moved on to someone else. And I realized that these are just probably automated channels that are coming into your channel. They're bumping your viewership for a short period of time. And then they leave and then they go and host someone else. So
Someone else in the lottery.
right. And so a 10-minute host from a channel that's constantly hopping channels that probably no one is actually watching may not really be an effective way to quote-unquote grow a community online. What community are you going to get out of that is kind of the issue, I think, right?
So I've actually seen worse than that. I've seen channels that are set up in that exact same way, only the way you get hosted is by paying for it. Donations and bits.
Wow.
They actually say right there in their panels, we will host you for 10 minutes if you donate this amount. And I'm like,
Man,
I'm not
that's like a
100%
cash grab.
sure. Well, it's like I'm not 100% sure that's legal. First of all, or like,
I don't know.
according to the TOS.
We need a lawyer.
Well, I mean, it might
That might
actually be
skirt a line.
allowed, but it's the same problem. It's what are you gaining out of this?
Right.
A short-term bump, which I mean, honestly, I mean, let's be real, right? that could be enticing if you were playing literally anything other than the top game.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
the top
if you're
row
playing,
of games or something, sure.
yeah, like if you're playing a game where that's going to bump you up into an area where people are actually
Right.
paying attention,
I
then
know where
I
you're
could
going with
see
this.
I
Yeah.
could see the appeal.
Maybe.
It's still
It's a
not
tool.
good.
It could become like a tool that you use, but you're not.
It's
What I'm saying is, the host itself isn't going to bring you organic people. Maybe the
correct.
numbers it gives you will give you the potential
Yes.
to have a new viewer or so. But this is also kind of a disingenuous way of growing your audience, because
Right.
people found you based upon you paying, if you in your circumstance, for
Yeah,
a host.
Well, and it's basically view botting light is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
that's
a game. It's like it's trying to game it. And my biggest problem with this is that it's unrealistic, even if it does work, because how do you keep up with lurking in X amount of channels, and then also while you're live, how do you keep the lurkers that are in this network accountable to you and helping you? How do you know they're going to spend time in your channel?
I mean, I've seen people trying to do it. I've actually seen people mess up and broadcast live them doing it, and it looks as confusing as it sounds. And the weird thing about it is, it's like it's as much work as just
it's
maybe
work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's like you're working to take a shortcut,
Yeah.
but the shortcut, if the shortcut is as much effort as just doing the right things and
Right.
growing your stream organically,
Right.
why would you ever do the shortcut?
I actually think I think it's a mentality thing, because I used to have a similar mentality, which was, if I only had more people in my channel, then I would get more people, right? People think if I had 50 people in my chat, then I'll get 50 more easily, right? I'm so entertaining,
Sure.
I'm so great. But you can have 25 lurkers in your channel, and if your chat's still dead, what real good is that giving you when someone new comes in, right? And they see 25 viewers, but no one's saying anything.
Right. That's
No one,
that can feel
I think,
awkward.
like,
yeah.
I think the danger with it too, because we do have a lot of like specific examples, right? Like we could name plenty of names, which we're obviously not gonna, but
Right.
we're probably thinking about like at least the same 2 or 3 offenders within our mixed communities that are no longer part of our mixed communities. And the trouble with it is it puts your progress on a bungee cord, and nobody realizes that. It takes an absurd amount of effort to gain those lurk for lurk views, and you increase them and you increase them and you increase them, and your follows increase. And then the second you stop putting the effort into it, they just rip right back, and you're back down to 3 viewers. But now guess what? You got 2,000 followers and you got 3 viewers, and now you have an inflated account and you've actually damaged yourself. And lurk for lurking, like the culture is one of those things that it doesn't appeal to. Once your stream gets to a certain point, like it doesn't appeal to you anymore. And so the real danger, and I think our streams in this chat at this time are not the streams that would be tempted by that culture, but those people who, let's say, we have a lot of IQ members who it definitely could seem appealing to. And the point is when we compare lurk for lurk growth styles versus infinite quality sincere growth styles, one of them pulls back when you stop doing it, and the other one is actually climbing upstairs. It's not climbing a slide that you can slip down. It's literally walking upstairs.
I can literally show you a graph.
Yeah, and lurk for lurk, we see people who, I mean, the guys we know who have practiced it really, really actively. Their followership or their viewership was below ours at the same time. Their follows were below ours at the same time. But if you look at like the hours they spent actually streaming to get those numbers, they're insane numbers. I mean, we're talking like they're like when World of Warcraft came out and that's all we played. That's all they're doing is streaming to do that. And and it's like this obsession they get. And
Yeah, I feel you. I feel where you're headed with all of this. It makes a lot of sense that you would want to be careful not to try to use a mechanism for success that doesn't have. It's all about results in some way. Like what we're talking about is what your actions as a streamer do. They have a direct impact on the kind of community that you build and what you're communicating with your audience. I think a lot of people want to fast track themselves to like a sponsorship place where they have business relationships and they have all this other stuff, but that business is going to very quickly realize that your audience isn't buying any of their stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and
and the real test for it is when Twitch stat. Let's say you potentially get the numbers and the viewership to like magically amazing. You've worked the system through Lurk for Lurk, and you get the numbers and you apply for partnership. Well, it's not an automated system. Twitch staff will look at your channel and be like, "Nah, this isn't real," and you're back at square one. It's not automated. And I mean, name a successful Lurk for Lurk streamer. Name one for me.
I can't, but there might be some.
Commander Root?
Yeah. A bot. That may be a Twitch-owned bot, for all we know.
Yeah, who knows? But what Jared or what Steven was... Oh my gosh, I keep doing this. what I was saying before that really like ties it together to what we were saying earlier is it's the same thing of like, yeah, you're just trying to get that sponsorship spot or get to that certain level. And it's like, well, it's still that same mentality of if I can just get X, then I'll get Y.
Oh,
and it's like
that's not the formula.
Thinking,
that's what you mean, right? It's not a real. It's not a real
that's
formula.
Not how.
That's
not
not
how
real.
It works.
That's not how any of this works.
Here's a perfect example of that. Right now, let's take a real world Twitch example. Okay, let's say you just got hosted by a big partner streamer. They just dumped 150 people on you. How long are those people going to stay there? Let's be realistic. Even if you're insanely entertaining,
my stream,
those 100
12 of them will stay.
You see what I mean? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even, it does not matter. You're going to get those 150 people. There's going to be a steep drop off. Okay. Now that's a perfect example of you just had 150 new people given to you. And
I usually
you only
have to
kept
pee
10,
when this
15.
happens.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the same thing. It's like if you have that extra 100 lurkers that are there that are going to quote unquote help you get the exposure, that's not what's appealing to your channel. The appealing part to a channel usually is the camaraderie, the chat, like everyone, the community.
Yeah.
Building
you
and you,
yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
it's this
you and your stream.
An extra 100 people doesn't do any good if you aren't, in a spot where it's gonna. I don't know. It's hard to explain right now.
Yeah, I just think people. Well, no, you said a lot of things that were probably important and things we're going to talk about in a second here. But mostly, I would say, you want to be careful. This is really a discussion. Let's frame this in a positive light. What we're talking about is proper networking, right?
Yes.
Like this is not about Lurk for Lurk is improper networking.
It's fake.
Follow for follow is improper networking. Now, look, you could follow somebody. Somebody could come in your channel and be like, "Hey, follow me, and I'll follow you," and you may go check out their stream, and they're cool, and then you may become friends. I'm not saying that can't happen. What I'm saying is that it's very unlikely for that mechanism to work for you as a streamer to walk into someone else's channel and say, "I'll follow you if you follow me." That's like not how you do networking in the real world.
We're not just going to tell you we're not just going to tell you don't do Lurk for Lurk and don't do follow for follow. We're also going to talk about what you should do instead.
Do proper networking. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
And yeah,
that's one of the reasons IQ exists.
But yeah, exactly. Proper networking.
We know, I knew for the past few years streaming and trying to network and get to know people that you need to have something that connects you together beyond the fact that you're just both streamers and you both like video games. And so IQ gave us the ability to come together under kind of an umbrella and say, look, we're doing this. We want you guys to do it with us. And it doesn't mean you have to do everything we do, but with us just means like you're thinking about this and you're considering what we're saying, and you're saying things to us and we're considering what you're saying. So
yeah, give and take.
Yeah, and honestly, Lurk for Lurk has almost it has a higher expectation of getting than giving, right? You take more than you receive because you're expecting to get famous and you're expecting to get big and huge and an audience,
right?
Just for lurking. That you can't do these. It's like
that's kind of an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah,
especially when so many of the people are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
right.
And not everyone can be the best. Like it's just actually impossible.
Like, how are you going to lurk better than that other guy? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I have a
Like,
plan. I have a plan. I put
I
together a
challenge you
bunch
to
of
a
web
lurk off.
servers. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't actually, we don't, like we said in the first podcast, we don't encourage people to just follow each other because they're in a network or they're on a team or they're in IQ itself. You know,
Right.
We encourage you guys to find people you can work with. IQ is here so that people can find people to podcast with, and then they know that they're got a similar mindset to, you know, the rest of us. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's more effective than a Lurk for Lurk networking. Not that I'm trying to turn this as an ad into an ad for IQ, but we are purposefully trying to do the opposite of what a Lurk for Lurk network is.
Yeah,
We want to encourage people to work hard.
We're not lurk for lurk. We're work for work.
Yeah, work hard and work smart too. It's not just
Yes.
about how hard you work, because it could be a lot of hard work, that Lurk for Lurk thing, and that's not a smart way to do your time, spend your energy.
So I wanted to pose the question, and I think we've already answered it to an extent, but maybe just to sort of, you know, I guess sort of put a cap on the conversation would be, let's just answer the question, like, why not? Why not do it? Is it hurting any? Who's it hurting, right? Like, who cares, right? If I follow this guy,
a couple of reasons.
Who am I hurting?
The first one I'll just point out, which is probably the most obvious, is people are not stupid. They know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not only it's the same concept of view botting, right? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you have a bunch of inactive people in your chat.
It's more. I think view botting's actually more disingenuous because it's more of a direct lie. At least
True.
the Lurk for Lurkers are like open about it.
They're real people.
Yeah, they're like open about it, and they're like, I want success, and I want you to have success. Look, I understand there's probably a healthy mindset. Maybe we should have started with this instead of just shitting all over the Lurk for Lurk thing. I understand that there's a healthy desire from you, the streamer, to grow your stream, and you want to help other people. You don't see why it would harm anybody to do the Lurk for Lurk thing. But the problem is you're mixing yourself in with a group of people that probably could be labeled more directly as some kind of narcissistic growth mechanism for their own stream. It's not about you, and it's not about networking. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a... are you going to network with only Lurk for Lurk people? What does that end up looking like? You know?
Boring.
Right. I mean, there's examples of channels that have done that as well, like we said before. To me, it's funny. I actually was thinking about this while Jared was talking earlier. A great analogy for Lurk for Lurk for what you're really doing is like, so we all have, like, well, with the exception of Wuta, we all have like a background in music, and you know those gigs you would get. A lot of people won't get this, but it's okay. It'll make sense in the end. You know those gigs you would get where the club like gives you like 20, 25, 30 tickets and says, sell these tickets.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell all the tickets, you don't get to play the show.
Yeah.
And so some bands, the way that they would get to play the show is they'd buy
all the tickets.
Well, not all of them, but they'd buy the remainders.
Most of them,
right?
yeah.
This is the same thing, right? It's the same mindset as, like, because you buy those extra tickets because then you get to play the show.
Yeah.
Right? Then you get to do the thing that you think will get you more exposure.
Yeah.
Lurk for Lurk is the exact same thing as that. You're just buying up extra tickets to your stream so that you can get to a spot where more people will be likely to notice you. But the thing is, I mean, you play the gig and you bought half the tickets and the room's half empty.
Yep.
Yeah, and it totally creates this awkward thing for anybody who came for a real show. Yeah, that's actually a really good analogy.
And it's this exact same thing with the stream, is you're going to see an empty chat with lots of viewers and go, what's going on here? And then the worst part is, I mean, maybe your intentions were totally pure, like we said before, and because we can see the appeal in this sort of thing. It's
Right.
like, it seems honest enough. Everybody's helping everybody out. This is a good thing, right? Okay, but what's somebody going to think when they come into your chat and you have 60 viewers and no one is talking? They're gonna think you're view botting.
And your title says follow for follow, Lurk for
Yeah,
Lurk.
like what are you accomplishing
I mean, it's
here?
already automatically known. And here's the other thing. The reason this is even a thing right now is that a massive portion of Twitch is streamers, and
Yeah.
all
Dude.
these people want some kind of magic bullet to success.
Yeah,
Who
everybody's
doesn't
got their
wanna
own
play
thing.
video games for a living? Come on.
Yeah, and this is not playing video games for the living. When I
Right.
stream, playing video games is the only relaxing part of what I do. Everything else is, meetings, talking to people, discussing
wrong.
Twitch, dealing with community. You got, this is a
Did he just say the video games are relaxing? What games is he playing?
He
And
ain't
yeah, if
playing
you
Dark
watch me
Souls.
game, I'm not that relaxed too. So if that's the most relaxing part of what I'm doing, it means something important here,
Right.
Like being live, we get it. It feels good. We all do this. But in order to facilitate this as a career, you're going to have to work like it's a career. And in what century did you just like turn something on, sit there and make a ton of money?
Nowhere.
When is this ever happening?
Yeah.
We all want this job. Streaming is not that job. And in fact, if you think it is, I want you to just try to start a freelance business, go out there and do one small contract with a small business nearby. And then you tell me that this is not going to be any work dealing with companies, dealing with CEOs, dealing with HR managers, dealing with media groups. There's a lot of work here. There's paperwork, there's contracts, and if you get success, there's lawyers.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
They
it's
don't-
funny. Like a lot of people talk trash on like people that rip other people's content and repost it on YouTube and stuff like that. But even that is work. I mean, you still have to do a lot of stuff.
I don't
to
mind that. I
maintain
actually
that.
like, as long as they say this is not the authentic Dr. Disrespect channel, I'm good. I'm
Right.
watching that thing.
There's-
And
And a lot of
it
the
probably
streamers don't
helps.
carry it.
If somebody did that for my stream, I'd probably be okay with it. Any streamer out there can go out there and, report those channels and get rid of them if they want to. But
I've had my clips in YouTube videos. I don't care.
yeah. It's more like, what do we?
But they also told you about it,
Yeah,
which was nice
Kinda.
of them.
yeah, that's true.
I think part of the idea is that people need to realize that like the Lurk for Lurk side of Twitch, like there's a fence between real Twitch and that, and you can work really really hard, do the Lurk for Lurk, follow for follow thing, but jumping the fence to legitimacy is not a thing. Like that, it's almost like it's a completely different system being broadcast on the same system.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
once
talk
you-
about it like
once you
this.
Step out, you're not in it anymore. It's almost like in the city of Twitch, the Lurk for Lurk is a graveyard.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
a bunch
so,
of dead people laying around.
Exactly. We have this thing that we need to think about, and it's actually kind of the next topic, right? And it's another reason why Lurk for Lurk kind of doesn't work is because you can't foster this us, not I concept. That's us, not I, right? That's kind of something we go over. Is this your stream is about your community? Your stream isn't about you. Your stream is about your chat, your people, what's going on with all of you. It's an entire entity that you have to kind of groom and take care of, and you foster that. And when you do Lurk for Lurk, you're not fostering that, right?
No, because it's just you.
It's an I attitude, right? And you think it's an us, not I, but where's the us? Like if I turn a TV on in the next room and don't watch it, is that helping anybody?
No. I mean, it might help someone in the house sleep because there's some background noise or something. I mean, yeah, but
it's
I
not
mean, there's
helping the creators of the
It's-
show.
The
Yeah,
show
and-
creators are not. Yeah, exactly.
any help involved is entirely incidental, and it's yeah.
Because
just-
you're not really a part of the us. All those streams, if you're doing the Lurk for Lurk thing, where's the us? Who's the
Right.
us? The us requires chat interaction, Discord interaction, tweeting with each other, whatever, social media. This is a social media thing, and yeah, we're hanging out with each other on the internet. Lurk for Lurk is like not hanging out with each other on the internet, but just kind of hanging out enough so that we all get some success together.
right. Yeah, so I guess we're moving into the next topic.
Yeah,
of, like,
the
us,
us
right?
thing. Yeah, I think we should talk about us because it really puts a light on why the Lurk for Lurk thing doesn't work, right?
Well, I'm actually just gonna I actually just want to read like a
Just
couple
read it.
sentences.
Yeah.
I at least this part, like this really sums up like
This
my
is
thoughts
directly
on it.
from the IQ website.
Right.
On
It
the
says
101.
they, or we can say us, like the us of the stream, including, you, the streamer, are the thing that matters. Without you, they still exist. But without them, the stream does not.
Yep.
Let that
So,
sink in.
Without
think about
you, they exist. Without the
Yes.
stream, without them, the stream doesn't.
Because without them, what is it? It's literally just you sitting there in your freaking room playing video games.
Right.
That clip
That's
of you was just such a perfect example. Because Steven, sorry, I keep doing it. He's my brother, guys. Give me a little
You're
break.
We'll bleep it out so it sounds like you say the F word. How's that sound?
That would be so
Yeah.
funny. If we had posts, we would do that. But no, the other day he was talking to somebody about he was doing some hashtag real talk moments on the stream, and he was just like spitting games, spitting knowledge about how to stream, right? And he's just like, man, like, because what if I did this? And he mutes his mic and he leans back and he just plays. He's just moving around in the game. He's not saying anything. He's not
Like,
reading.
scratch
chat.
my face. you
Yeah,
know?
he's not. He's not doing anything. He's just like, and he's just like, see, like, how interesting is that? And that's what a lot of people look like.
Yeah, who's gonna come to your stream and if you're not talking, you're not interacting with anybody, or if you're not even trying to.
Right, and that's what the stream looks like when you're focused on I instead of us.
Exactly.
I get like panicked about the chat.
Yeah.
I get uncomfortable with myself if I don't read the chat. And then what happens if it doesn't move? Then it like that yin yangs into more anxiety. Because if I'll forget to read the chat sometimes because I get busy in the game, and then I'll look at the chat and it'll be like a wall of text that I missed, and I'll
that
be
can
like,
intimidating.
I missed so much chat. But I'm not like not just sitting there and like, so like that's the difference. I've seen streamers do this. Like they'll sit there, you'll say something in their chat, and 10 minutes will go by. Even 3 minutes, 30 seconds sometimes is too long.
Yep.
And it's just like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? That's a cool sword or whatever. And then nothing. Not like I might have left before they even got responded or something. So yeah, the us not I is important. And the lurk for lurk can kind of put you in a mindset where you're not reading chat. There's only lurkers in there anyway,
I actually watched a streamer that was heavily engaged in Lurk for Lurk, and when a real person came in their chat and started talking, they didn't respond because they thought it was just one of the many
Someone saying
bots
just refreshing
or scripts. Yeah,
Right. Oh, so that that could be a
I've-
thing. If your chat gets full up with bots and weirdness, then
Oh,
don't
it
see the
gets
real
really
people.
weird. The people that are really deep in it, the chat gets really weird. And I've also been in people's streams where they didn't know that they weren't actual people typing, and they just failed to notice apparently that they were saying the same thing every 10 minutes. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I know that stream.
Yeah,
there's
we all know that stream. But yeah, I mean, moving off the Lurk for Lurk and on to cultivating a culture of us, like within your own stream.
Right.
What can we do to like push that forward? And the way we suggest it was language is part of it.
Right, and this actually ties directly into what a lot of branding and marketing people will tell you. They'll tell you to foster a community around a brand. Your brand is you.
Right.
The Sunny Machine. When people come to my stream, I say, hey, thanks for coming and joining me on the Sunny Machine again. It's like, we are the Sunny Machine and not me. I'm Sunny. The Sunny Machine is us. Like, that machine is the stream itself. And without that mindset, you're gonna miss out on that, fostering that kind of community and branding and awareness for your audience to see that it's all of you, not just you. Right.
Well, we just went over basically, saying without you, the chat still exists. Without them, the stream doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. You have to pay homage to the fact that these people. Oh man, I lost it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay.
I had a point.
They're joining
Well,
something
understanding
that everybody is a part of, right?
Yes. Yes.
Coming off of
Not welcome to
the
my
dependency
channel.
thing that was mentioned, like that's huge. Like I think that's like key to understanding why you do this is us not I exist because that's like actually the reality of a successful growing stream in the current like Twitch meta. Like if you want to grow a stream through that particularly painful growth phase, like when you're up in the like 5,000 people, yeah, the stream becomes a lot less about us now, and now it's this general like beast that's uncontrollable. But when you're talking like 10 viewers, 20 viewers, 30 viewers, 100 viewers, it's still like that stream is the viewers 100%. That's the reality of
I
that
would
level
say
of the meta.
even at 5,000 viewers, there's still a lot of community work and fostering you have to do. It's just more general. Your tweeting and your Discord is treated more like a public forum that lots and lots of people have access to instead of more like a small community. So, but it's still really important. You don't really change your attitude. You just speak to a lot more people, right?
Right.
So this is still important, no matter how big your stream gets, kind of.
Yeah, like the language would still apply there. Like absolutely.
It's just
'Cause
the mechanism.
It's inclusionary.
Yeah, the mechanism is just that you're speaking to such a. Oh, it's you need to think about it differently when you're speaking to a massive auditorium of people compared to a small group, but you still have this us mentality.
Right. And it's psychologically, the language is important. When you say, when you welcome someone into our stream and you act like they're part of an us, like they're part of a group, gives them an identity with the stream. They identify with the community, and this can happen gradually over time, or it can happen really fast. Just recently, we had someone on Jared's stream join his community, and he was just like sold like day one, and just like a part of the community like right away. And part of the reason that happened and that was able to happen is because, I mean, Jared uses the inclusive language thing like to the nth degree. I mean, I'll give you a little example, little anecdote.
Oh, me being an idiot last night? Yeah.
Yeah, last night he FaceTimed me right before he went live because we hadn't talked all day, and he was just like, "Hey, just want to say, see what's going on and say hi." And he was like setting up the stream, and so he FaceTimed me, and I was just like, what did I say? I don't remember what I said, but your response was a "we."
I was changing my shirt, and I was like, "Oh, we can't wear this shirt. We got to wear something else."
Yeah, we can't wear this shirt, right? He was like ready for stream. He's so that person that he's even when he's not streaming yet, he's already talking about him as like a group of people, right? Because it's the reason he picks another shirt is not just for him, it's for everyone because it works better with the chroma or whatever other reason, or it lets people see his beard, which is part of optics. So it's like all these things like matter, and the way you talk also matters, right? So using words like us, we, and also on the negative side, getting rid of phrases that are like sort of like exclusionary, or like just talking about yourself and things you're going to do.
Not that you can't do that. It's just that
sure
you want to be mindful of the community and have that attitude.
Yeah.
And honestly, the big deal is it's like the reason we do it isn't just this selfish growth thing. Like there's also this degree of kindness in it. Like
sure.
Like I want people to do that to me. I want to be part of their community. When I pop in, like I want those warm fuzzies, and it's kind to create an environment where that can be a real thing.
Yeah.
Like so you have this dual thing where it's for the growth of my stream, but it's not just some insincere trick that we do. It's not a magic trick or a bullet. It's actually like a real meaningful thing, and that's why it works.
Yeah.
It's like inviting someone over to your house to hang out with you on your couch.
That's exactly it.
That's pretty much how I treat talking to my chat room. Is like, it's like I'm talking to you like you're my homie. Like you're coming over to my place. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna play video games together because that's what I want my stream to feel like.
And
I want you to feel like you're coming over, cruising over. Let's smoke a bowl, and
Yeah.
and,
So here's
I'm in California and that's legal.
Here's the one danger with that. Psychologically for me, when I first started this, I had that attitude because that's how I am.
I know
I
where
want
this is
people.
going.
But what happened is I hadn't prepared myself for the trolls and for the negative aspects of Twitch.
Yeah.
And so I was incredibly upset when people would shit on my couch, so to speak. And I'm like, dude, I'm letting you into my home. Like this, you're here in my house with me, basically. Like
Right.
my heart is
Yeah.
open to you, and you're trolling me so hard right now.
Don't Rick James me.
Yeah. So I would get really upset and kind of actually, especially when it would happen with people that were there and they were friendly for a little bit, and then they would turn trolly, and I'd be like, "Why are you suddenly having this negative attitude?" And I understand that that's a complex situation.
Well, and even not just trolls. You mentioned to me a while ago that there is a danger in your stream becoming too personal, because when you get to the point where these people feel like they know you on a personal level, and people come in and they start talking about, like serious personal events in their lives and things
Yeah.
that really probably shouldn't be
they should
talked
whisper
about
me
on
about
a
it
live
instead
stream.
of
Yes.
putting it in my chat.
Stuff that belongs in DMs, and they start putting it in chat.
That's
That can,
been a very big problem in my community
it
for
can
a
be
long time.
really, really, really
And
awkward
yeah,
when stuff
and,
like that happens.
and then I've even had one guy come in and troll by saying that somebody committed suicide and it wasn't true, and I was
Oh,
like
jeez.
distraught on stream. So like I wasn't really ready for that. I wasn't ready. So you have to be careful with this whole "I'm opening my door and letting you in" kind of thing.
You're right. Because I've
But
actually had
I
a couple
want-
experiences
I-
recently about that.
As a person, that's how I want to treat my stream.
Totally.
But in order for it to be authentic and genuine, when you attack me, you're attacking me in my home. So it's a very
Right.
delicate balance.
Well, even in your home, there's rules, right? Take your shoes
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
in the door, stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Don't hit my dog or
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like there's rules, so
Yeah.
it's not. It can be personal and still like, what's the word? It can be personal and still, you're not necessarily joining the family.
Well, here, let me
You're
add.
not marrying in.
I'll add
You're-
some
you're
context on
hanging
this.
out.
It's like sometimes people will come in and you're having this good time and people are hanging out and they are hanging out on your couch, and then someone else comes in and they hang out with you guys and you're having a good time, but those two people that are not you will start fighting.
Don't get along. Yeah.
Right. And so now your stream, the community is about this fight, and I've had this happen too.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. And you can do your best to try to tell people to get disengaged and not argue. I literally had to come up with like a command that explained Twitch chat itself is not the proper medium for intellectual debates.
No, it's not.
You can't have intellectual debates in Twitch chat. In fact, you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to put two debaters in in that format for a discussion. You'd want them to talk. And so a lot of times I've had to encourage people to not have these crazy debates. It's okay to talk about things. Listen to the streamer because the streamer's got a voice. People on the show, you can talk about things, but from the chat. It is so hard to convey emotions and so many different things from chat. So if you're going to want to start talking about like historical events that are controversial and conspiracy theories, spiritual things, whatever, it's not the right medium. And so I've had to like try to encourage people in my community to not to leave, but to stop certain behaviors. So yeah, this is a complicated situation for sure. If you guys are out there listening to this and you guys have those kinds of things, if you're an IQ, definitely hit us up and we can talk about this stuff because a lot of us have dealt with
you're not alone.
trolls and things like that for sure.
I'm pretty sure we've all had at least a couple experiences of like I've had to get rid of people,
Well, I know Jared has. He deals with a lot of that by not entertaining it, basically.
sure.
Almost ignoring it, but more just acknowledge and move on.
Right.
Like especially when you're talking about like the really personal stuff, because the bottom line is when people come into your chat and start doing stuff like that, it's not about it's about them.
They're trying to make it about them.
Well, they want your attention. That's what it primarily is. And then you can just be like, yeah, DM me. If you want to talk about it, send me a message. talk about on Discord or
And
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's actually a really good, like, because if we're talking about the us culture, like that's going to happen no matter what. People are like
Absolutely.
going to feel so connected that they trust you, and they're going to trust you faster, and they're going to, because everybody just wants to belong somewhere, right? And when you do an us culture, all of a sudden they feel welcome, and for some of these people, in this horrible world we live in, this is like the one time they feel connected, and it
Yeah.
just blows their mind, and the doors just swing wide open, and then they want to tell you about their dad's drug addiction, and it's like,
Yeah.
and I mean, to Feckless's point, like the way I deal with it is to acknowledge that it's real, it's serious. I thank them for being there, and then I move on.
Yeah.
I have lines that I say where I'll be like, dude, that sounds really rough. I'm so sorry that that's happening in your life. I hope that as you're here, you can actually enjoy yourself. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here. And then if I see anything else, I don't say anything because I've already said the thing they actually need to hear is
Yeah.
while you're here, let's be a family. Like, and let's do that. Are you hearing my kid right now?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Greta's making amazing noises.
She's sitting next to me with the PlayStation controller and thinks she's playing the computer.
Nice. Nice. Good.
She's playing Podcast Simulator 2019.
I changed the window and she goes, I did it.
No, so on that topic actually, yeah, and I can speak not as a streamer really because I don't really stream that much, but
Viewer, yeah.
from a moderator's perspective, I do have to deal with those sorts of situations, or rather, I feel like I do. And what I typically tend to do to direct chat in the correct, going in the correct direction is I'll if I see someone else like mentioning like, oh hey, sorry to hear about that, I have a similar experience or something, like encourage those people to DM each other and talk about it privately, not start a discussion about suicide or drug addiction in your chat. And I typically tell people to ask people to take it to PMs and keep the chat positive, keep the chat moving, keep it relevant to the game or whatever is happening on stream. So
Yeah.
that's an important thing to do, and that's part of keeping the us of the channel, an appropriate us.
Sure.
not a you and me, like
It's
a married,
hard. This is a
loyal
hard
we-
place because you want to give people the ability to share. I mean, some people, like Jared's saying, they don't have anywhere to go tell people what's going on in their life. They don't have a
Yeah.
connection, so they go to their favorite Twitch channel or their streamers that they feel connected to, and they want to tell them what's going on. And I totally
Yeah.
get that. I actually want to foster those kinds of relationships with people in my community. It's just that the Twitch stream and the Twitch chat itself is not conducive for that kind of environment.
Right.
Well,
and
but Discord, hanging out with people when they're not live, those are great places to hang out and like talk about what's going on, and
Yeah.
you want to. So that's where the community needs to expand.
and Twitch does attract that type of person because, like we said, I mean, we want Twitch is sort of the online version of hanging out at your friend's house on the couch. It's like
Sure.
a lot of people on Twitch, they feel maybe a little socially alienated or introverted or whatever reason, but everyone needs social interaction, and people today in this generation where everything is online, people are seeking that interpersonal interaction online, and Twitch is a great place to do it because there's an immediate reaction. You see someone you like, and you can talk to them without a whole lot of fear because you're behind a pseudonym, at least at the beginning, and it sort of encourages that kind of personal connection, and it's a good thing, but it's also a balancing act as a streamer because you can't let it go too far, and you don't want to just totally you don't want to totally discourage people from trying to get closer, so to speak, or just become part of the group. You want them to become part of the group, but you don't want them to take it to the extreme.
Right. So that's you kind of want to foster the us for the chat as well, so that someone in the chat, we talked about this last week, somehow someone in the chat doesn't make it about them. They become the I. So it's really about fostering the us for everybody and asking people to join you in that. Well, sorry.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
Well, part of that, everybody. I was going to move on to the next topic.
Me too.
Part of that, everybody is the people that don't interact with chat at all, which we would call the true lurkers, the ones that are
right. That's where I was going.
That are just watching. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people And like I was gonna say is like at too much. Um, when you see a lot of people that, or when you see people that do take it too far, or if you have a streamer that doesn't encourage that, there's really no potential to convert lurkers into chatters in that situation. It's never going to happen
Yeah.
because it'll either be too awkward for them to want to join in, or they won't feel like there's something to join in with.
Okay, so
And
let's paint the lurker positively now.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about lurk for lurk being negative and all this stuff. And I really want to make sure people know that, like, lurking is not a bad thing. I lurk on a lot of people's channels. They know that I'm lurking. And I lurk on your guys' streams. You know, I'm trying... I'm not saying don't lurk on people. It's these mathematical, calculated lurk for lurk things that are maybe not going to have the net positive benefits for your streaming career that you think. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're not saying don't discourage lurkers in your stream. Encourage people to do however they want. Chat, lurk. If somebody goes to lurk, right, you can just say, hey, you know, lurk away. Thank you. Appreciate the support. It makes, you know, lurkers, we say this on the site, right? Lurkers are what? They're like a huge portion of your audience.
They're like the unseen hero of the big numbers.
There's a ton of people who come to, well, because we already mentioned that there's a lot of people that come to Twitch looking for that, you know, community, and then there's also the other people who are just coming to Twitch because they want to watch video games, right? Like,
or they just want to. Yeah, I like to have you
maybe
guys on and do other stuff.
Right, maybe they don't want to feel like chatting though, and that's totally fine. No one's, you know, I'm not gonna tell somebody they can't come to my channel just because they're not chatting.
Sure,
you know, that's a totally positive thing. And sometimes people even come in and they won't even talk all night, and then they might donate, and it's like, oh, okay, you're here, you've been here
right,
all night. Here's $20. You're like, wait, what the?
Yeah, we were talking about that. There's a few people in Jared's chat that do exactly that. They don't say anything, and then just randomly they'll drop like 500 bits.
Yeah.
Or a dono or something, and it's like, oh, wow,
or resub,
cool. It's nice,
or whatever.
Nice to know that you're there. Yeah, and subscribers that don't chat, it's nice as well. And
yeah, I get messages from people that don't talk in my chat very often, but that they do tell me they watch my stream.
Yeah,
well, and it's interesting because like those of us who are actively streaming, and if you pay attention to like your bot records and stuff, like there are people in my stream that are there more than my mods, and they don't talk, and those are the people that Twitch like relies on.
Yeah,
and you know what? I've been that person before. Like when I had my daughter, who is graciously in the other room watching Dino Trucks right now. She would had a really hard time sleeping at night. And you guys are probably thinking she still does, but during that time period, like I watched a couple huge streamers that I just really enjoyed, and I would watch them all night long, and I was actively engaged because I didn't want to fall asleep and drop my child who refused to sleep unless I held her. Like, and I was part of that community, and there was one in particular who would on occasion, and this was the pivotal moment for me, and like as we formed this for IQ, like he has a moment in his stream where he acknowledges like lurkers, and funnily enough, he'd be like, all right, now's your time, lurkers. If you want to throw some emotes in chat, just pipe up that way. I know you don't feel like chatting, but if this is what you want to do to let us know that you're here and that you're part of this community, please do it right now. And chat would just light up with emotes.
That's actually a really cool idea.
It was oddly beautiful. Like I loved seeing it, and I didn't even do that, but it made me feel appreciated and involved. And now that I'm on the streaming side, I'm like, you know what? Like there are so many people, and now that I see their names in chat, like I don't know these people at all, but we're part of their life, and those are the lurkers that it's a shame that phrase has been demonized by the other aspect of it, because
I was going to bring this up.
Audience is more accurate, but it also comes with a certain level of cheese if you say audience, like. But they're actually an audience. You're putting on a show.
Whoa, hold on. Let me paint a picture. This is really interesting. This is like chatters are like people who are allowed to like yell at the comedian while he's on the stage. It's like,
like good hecklers.
Yeah, good hecklers, and they're like allowed in the
and
show.
And even bad hecklers.
But there's a huge portion. Imagine a stand-up show where you did have people could. You would have to realize there would be people in the audience who were not going to heckle.
I almost think
how about improv?
yeah, I was just
Right,
about to
right.
say improv.
They're gonna
Yeah.
sit in the audience and watch, and
Not
so
everyone does the audience
that's
participation.
the true
stuff.
lurker. Is the person who is sitting there. Maybe they aren't even paying attention the whole time. Maybe they're on their phone some of the time, but they're there. You're at your show.
I would even, and this gets complicated because everything sort of just gets rolled into this term lurker. I brought this up to Jared a long time ago. Was that I don't actually like the term lurker because number one, it has a negative connotation. Number two, it sounds creepy. Because it's creepy. But if you think about it, like there's really two types of lurkers, right? There's the true. It's odd because we use this phrase, the true lurker. The true lurker, in my opinion, is not the guy that's sitting there and just not chatting. That's a viewer. That's an audience member. They're actively watching the stream, or even they're listening to the stream and doing some work or doing something else and treating it almost like a podcast. And they're being involved in some way. They're actually they're consuming the media.
They
right?
know what's happening on the stream for the most part. They can hear
Right,
it.
and
It's
and
getting
then
into their
there's-
brain.
And then there's what I would classify as an actual lurker, as somebody that is away from, for lack of a better phrase, AFK. Right? They're not
Sure.
actually there. They have the stream pulled up on the
Muted.
tab, muted or unmuted, or put down real quiet, and they just walk away from their computer and leave you up for an extra view, which is fine, right? That's okay, and that's sort of the difference.
I think we all
between
kind
lurk
of
for lurk.
go in and out of these modes because of life.
Everyone does.
Everyone
that.
is this.
And lurk for lurk basically as a strategy, just to sort of bring it back to the overarching topic. What lurk for lurk does is it takes that positive thing that you want to do for somebody and it turns it into a scheme.
It turns into a battery.
Yes,
It's like the Matrix. That's the robot. The Matrix.
Like the Matrix,
thing.
man.
Yeah. It's just We're
all in the Matrix, dude.
We're
all just batteries.
This is the streamer red pill.
No, seriously though. I mean, that's what it is, and like a battery, as we say, the lurkers are what Twitch is all about. The majority of your viewers are people are not
batteries.
Chatters.
Yeah.
Right. Well, don't use them, but
Yeah.
they do power Twitch. I mean, it's the majority of people on Twitch do not actively interact with the streamer, and that's fine. Those views are, as every streamer knows, incredibly useful. They push you up a category. They help you find more people. They help you grow your community, and a lot of them, like we said, will contribute in other ways: subscriptions, donations, monetary contributions. It happens, right? So it's not really all that uncommon. Actually, it's weird that we're weirded out by it. Actually, now that I think about it, right? Isn't it kind of weird that you'd think that just the law of averages, I mean, just the fact that most people are not actively chatting, you would think that it wouldn't be that weird that those people would contribute in the same way that as the chatters.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just a little less starved for attention. not to talk trash.
We're all starving
chatters.
for attention on some level because we're
of
human.
course. I mean,
you didn't mean that. I know how you meant that.
I didn't mean that negatively.
Yeah.
I phrased that
more
poorly.
negative than it did. Than you meant
yes,
it.
yes, I phrased that poorly.
Yeah, I think the point is that we want streamers to focus their attention on the us part of their community and foster it, and not try to use any quick schemes or whatever.
Don't use tricks.
Yeah, well, be clever, be smart, use your mind, but don't try to use someone else's tricks. It's kind of like a bait and switch. People are gonna tell you, "Oh, you're gonna get all this stuff and all this attention," but it probably won't be the kind of attention that you're actually looking for, and it's not going to give you the kind of success that you're looking for, not long term. So
lurk for lurk is an illusion, Michael. Your butting is something a whore does for money.
Anyway, I like this idea that it is important to acknowledge the people who are supporting your channel, and they are lurking, and to talk to them and give them an opportunity to be acknowledged. That's important. That's part of this whole us, not I thing. So that's a very good point. I think we've covered a lot, and we probably can wrap this up this episode. So
yeah.
thank you guys for joining me. It's been a fantastic one, and we'll see you guys next time on the IQ podcast.
Bye.
Absolutely. Later.